The forecast is a little blustery right now, and so we're plan Bing it. And so today we're gonna stop at Hedge Fence. We got here at slack tide, unfortunately, but there's a lot of birds on the rip. There's some fish on the fish finder, and one thing I like about Hedge Fence is you can always find something here. You know, my years, in a previous life chartering out of Falmouth, this was always the windy weather spot. It's only about 4 miles from Falmouth Harbor. It's not too far to get to. It's close to a lot of other ports too. But anyway, so for today, I have a couple of rods rigged up with 1.25 ounce epoxy jigs. That's about all you really need here. For example, I'm right on the sandbar now. It's 11.5 feet. So I have the 1.25 ounce epoxy jigs. Oftentimes sand eels blow through here, so that's a perfect size and profile. It's heavy enough to get down to the bottom. It's also light enough to fish top water once the tide starts building and you're fishing on the rip. Hedge Fence, you can expect to have a reasonable shot at a striper, a bluefish, sea bass, big porgy, and also fluke. This is a decent fluke spot. Later in the season in September, Hedge Fence is also a known bonito spot, perhaps in mid to late August. Then also sometimes the Atlantic bonito, and then sometimes the albies blow through here as well. So let's give it a shot. So it's slack tide, and what we're doing is just letting the wind drift us over where the rip line would be, over the shoal of Hedge Fence. Oh, just had a hit. I got that one. There is a ton of bait. We're marking bait on the fish finder. It appears that there's stripers just rolling on sand eels here. And that's what I love about Hedge Fence, is you really don't know what you're gonna find here. And so for that reason, I tend to go a little heavier on my fluoro leader because there are bluefish mixed in. So bluefish is actually, compared to striped bass, my favorite eating fish. So I'm gonna take this fish home and throw back any stripers we get. And so for now, I'm just gonna pop him in here. So we're gonna be practicing catch and release now that we have the target species for dinner. And so I'm gonna take this treble hook off and put this in line. It's basically a little live bait hook. And I like the inline because the hook lines up in line with the bait, but if all you have is a regular live bait hook, it'll shoot off to the side with just a split ring, but that's no problem. So I find it very handy to have just a little simple pair of split ring pliers in the boat. I'm changing hooks all the time depending on what I'm doing. Gonna let it back down. I find that sometimes it's actually easier to land a bottom fish on a jig with a single hook than I do with the treble. And the single hook will weed out sort of the smaller fish. Like for example, I'm getting hits right now, and there's some small scup down there, so I'm probably missing those guys. And they'll eventually find the hook, but it's just it's a cleaner way to fish. You injure fewer fish. Still on the rip. It appears that there's a lot of bait here. I have that many fish rolling at slack tide. Now I've noticed some marks on the fish finder. So rather than go back to the breaking fish, I'm just gonna drop this jig right down. We're in 18 feet of water, so it's no problem reaching with this little jig. And here we go. And it's a sea bass. So the best thing about Hedge Fence is you never know what you're gonna get. Went over a big mark on the finder, looked like a decent sized fish. In fact it was, but this sea bass is so big that it showed to me like it looked like a striper down in 20 feet of water. We have our bluefish for dinner, so I'm gonna let this big guy go. Here we go. So we're right at the edge of hedge fence. We're right before it shoals up to 15 feet of water. And these birds are hovering on what appears to be sand eels. And it's a mix of bass and blues in here. The first fish we caught was a blue. This guy's either very green or a little bigger or both. Some color. Oh, good sized bluefish. So you can see here why split ring pliers like these make such a great de-hooking tool, because you can grab the hook in that little lip that's designed to separate the split ring. You can grab onto that hook. You can see I have a good grip on it. All you need to do is change the angle so the hook is articulated such that it's exiting the way it came in. The fish will slide right off.